Hello and welcome to the Warcraft Academy guide to the Shah of Pride. For this guide I'll assume you already know how the fight works on normal. If you don't, click here to view the normal mode guide. This fight is fairly different on normal. Rather than being stacked up in one spot, the easiest way to do this fight is to have your raids spread all the way around the room. There are two new mechanics on Heroic. First, he'll frequently spawn Rifts of Corruption at random locations throughout the room. These will shoot shadowy bolts at random players and do 350,000 shadow damage to them and give them 5 pride. You can run over these rifts to remove them, but doing so will cause you to take some shadow damage and you get a debuff that stops you closing any more rifts for a minute, so you can only close one rift per minute. These rifts can spawn all over the room, so you'll need players to run to them as they appear to close them. If you don't have the debuff, you should be actively looking for a rift to close, and every person in your raid needs to help close them to keep them under control. You can use a weak aura to see this debuff. In addition, he'll occasionally transport players into a banishment realm. In this realm, you're compelled to always run forwards. If you run into the sides, you die. If you run into one of the Shah mobs running around, you die. Outside, you'll spawn a copy of yourself that stands still and can be DPS down. When it dies, you get out of the banishment. In addition, inside you can jump into the golden orbs around to damage your copied self outside, speeding up the process. Inside, you can basically follow the pattern I take here every time. Take an immediate left and don't worry about this mob here. Go left again down here, then follow the circle round to the right, by which time you should be out. These are the only changes to the encounter. So start with your raid spread evenly on all 4 sides of the boss. Although on 10 men you'll probably want to just spread on 3 sides excluding the entrance, and then just have someone mobile run over there if rifts spawn there. This is for healing concerns. You want to be fairly close to the center square to make healing easier. There's no need to be super far back unless you're going to soak a rift. The whole point of spreading is to make soaking rifts faster, because this will make the fight feel so much easier in general. If you have the rift debuff, feel totally free to move closer to the center to make healing and dispelling easier. On 10 man especially, you should try to be in the main center square unless you're soaking a rift. When he does self-reflection, move out of those pools on the ground and try to have the off-tank pick up as many as he can. A Death Knight mass grip can be helpful here. AoE them if they're clumped up enough, otherwise just multi-dot them. Do kill them though, because they do hurt if you leave them on a clothy for too long, but there isn't an immediate rush. When he does imprison, you'll want players assigned to every prison just like on normal, preferably close to the side they're already spread on. Preferably assign a surplus of people to each prison. For example, we had 5 people assigned to every prison on 25 man to ensure they were always broken extremely quickly. On 10 man, since only 2 prisons are active, your 2 tanks can safely take the one behind them, leaving the other one for anyone to take it. When he does Manifestation of Pride, those closest to it should immediately interrupt it and ideally try to move it closer to the centre, but primarily focus on killing it quickly. The manifestation gives pride to the nearest player to it when it dies, so try to avoid letting this be a healer. Finally, for Swelling Pride, use a raid cooldown if you have one. Swelling Pride itself will not kill a raid member, but the void zones it spawns under your feet afterwards can. In addition, if you have more than 50 pride, you need to be ready to soak your projection if it spawns. You can use a weak aura like this one to get a very obvious notification if you spawn a projection, and therefore you can be on the lookout for it to soak it. It's unlikely you'll get to 75 pride unless you're doing something very wrong, but if you do, stay away from other people after Swelling Pride. Mark of Arrogance is the only thing that might give you trouble. Whichever healer has Gift of the Titan should be dispelling these as their absolute highest priority. However, any healer can remove it if that player is at risk of death, especially if Swelling Pride is coming up soon. If you have Mark of Arrogance and you're out of personal cooldowns, call out for a dispel. During the 30% burn, nothing really changes. Pop Bloodlust here, but continue to execute the same fight mechanics that you've been doing up to then. So to sum up, have your raids spread out on all sides of the boss but not too far out. Run over rifts that spawn to remove them. Really focus on removing rifts. When small adds spawn, try to be close to the boss so they can be picked up easily and AoE or otherwise kill them. During banishment, avoid the walls and the mobs inside and jump onto the golden orbs. Assign people to free a prison each quickly. Kill and interrupt the large add as it spawns. Use a raid cooldown for Swelling Pride. Don't stand in the void zones and soak your projection. Thank you very much for watching this guide, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please post them in the comment section below, and remember to visit warcraftacademy.com for all of our other guides for Siege-of-orgrimmar. If you like this guide, please do subscribe, it really helps me out a lot, I really appreciate it. Thank you and catch you soon.